Everybody kind of figured it out. All right.
One.
And I am here, if you can hear me. Okay, wonderful.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Could everyone take a seat, please, and we'll get started? Welcome to Launchbox 2022, or our 10th running of this program. My name is Gavin Drone. I'm the head of entrepreneurship here in Tangent, and I'm delighted you can take some time out of your schedule, especially as the rain seems to have arrived. But I really appreciate you being here today. I've got one of the maybe less so exciting sort of roles, but it's important in case a fire alarm goes off. So I just want to let you know that we have fire escapes and stairs through to my left, to your right, and also the way you came in backstairs. Please don't exit through sort of the spiral staircase at the front, as a fire screen will come down, and it's a little bit challenging to get out that way. But hopefully we're not going to have to deal with that sort of problem today. In order to kick off our program today, I'm going to introduce Ken Finnegan, who's the CEO of Tangent, who's going to say a few words.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Launchbox 2022, we are so happy to have everybody here today. This is the first time back in 3 years that we've been able to do this kind of like in person, so we are genuinely so excited. I know the world has been back to normal for about the past 6 months, but yeah, I met one of the guys from Field of Vision earlier on, and it was a totally different experience for the past 2 years having all of this online. So we're delighted to have everybody here in person today. And as Gavin kind of like alluded to a few minutes ago, this is a massive milestone for us. This is our 10th year. So Launchbox has been going for 10 years. Tangent is relatively new, 4 years, but it is a consolidation of all the innovation and entrepreneurial activity from around Trinity. I do have to send apologies from our provost, Dr. Linda Doyle. She was going to join us today, but unfortunately she was diagnosed with COVID yesterday. Oh. So I the sigh from this side. So it's she sends her best wishes to everybody, best of luck to everybody, and apologies she can't be here today. So for those of you here in person and you've never been here before, welcome to the Tangent space. And for those at home who are joining us online, welcome to Tangent. I'm just going to give a little kind of like an overview about Tangent, what we are and what we do. So it is Trinity's Ideas Workspace. Tangent is a place where there is freedom to be creative. It's a place where students are not constrained by a traditional education, but are unchained through the provision of this space. And also, really more importantly, it's a really safe space for creativity and consideration. Our programs allow students not just to dream and imagine, but to make dreams and imaginations come true and a reality. And you're going to see a whole lot of that happening shortly in this afternoon. So aspiring and ambitious students and startups with the seed of an idea come here to pursue and grow that seed. We provide a range of structured programs that help them to take their idea and turn it into impact. So I just want to show on the screens here some of the impacts that Tangent has achieved over the past, I guess, not just 10 years. Tangent, as I say, has been here for 4 years, but Trinity as a university, we're #1 in Europe for student entrepreneurship. It's an accolade that we're really, really proud of. And by virtue of that accolade, we've been #1 for 7 years running. Tangent is a manifestation of that. So we're really proud of that accolade. Over the past few years, Joe and the rest of the team have mentored 3,767 students. So we've one-to-one mentoring, but we've also got incredible programs like Women Who Wow, where we match female students with female leaders in industry and business. And that old adage is, if you can't see it, you can't be it. So there's really, really fantastic mentoring programs here. We've supported 229 startups in our 10 years. Our 10th anniversary of Launchbox, we've supported 103 startups to date. So we're really proud of that number as well. 93.2 million. This number goes up every other week, by the way. That's the amount of investments that's happened into student ventures. The most recent one was Equine MediRecords got an investment of 10 million there 2 weeks ago. And actually, I haven't even added Protex AI. Dan Hobbs, I think he got an investment of 17 million 2 weeks ago. So So you guys are in a really, really good club, by the way. No pressure. It's really important as well. Tangent, our Launchbox was originally founded by and funded by a group of angels who supported it for the first 5 years. Over the past 5 years, Bank of Ireland have funded us as well. So we've been able to take that funding and invest it into our startups, equity free. And it's really important to point that out, that each team has received 10,000 euros in funding to participate on Launchbox. I can see big smiles and nods over here. And we don't take equity. Tangent does not invest in companies. We provide funding for some of our startups. And then, of course, this is just entrepreneurship. And I'm going to talk about the journey through Tangent in a second. But we've 2 undergraduate courses, we have 7 postgraduate courses, and multiple professional courses. We're about to launch a really nice new series as well. And then this number is wrong, it's much more now, but 32,000 visitors into this floor over the past 3 years since we've been here. And we've had a pandemic in the middle of that as well. So there's a lot of throughput coming through here as well. And you can sense today, can you feel it? There's like a nervous energy on the floor. This is kind of like typical to Tangent. There's always kind of like pitching going on and nervous energy. So it's all fun. I'm going to talk about, I mentioned this idea of the journey of an idea. As you walk up to the top of the steps there, you'll see big signs, you'll see them all around, the journey of an idea. And that's exactly what we're here for. From your initial engagement with students all the way to our capstone, to our kind of like brilliant demo day today, that's exactly what it's all about. It's students coming here with the seed of an idea and turning that idea into impact. So how do we do that? So ironically, and I do get this, we've put Tangent at the center of the circle and not as a tangent on the circle. Anyhow, we are here for the 3 different disciplines here in Trinity, as well as Trinity staff and beyond. Creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship is core to what we do. As I mentioned earlier on, this is a safe space. It's all about creativity. Creativity is a seed of an idea. That's where ideas come from. Innovation is the taking of that idea and doing something with it, turning it into impact. And then entrepreneurism, here you go, are the guys and girls that drive that idea into impact. So how do we do it? That journey usually starts off by engaging with the student population. So it's all about inspiring and exciting. It's about, I see lots of faces in the audience today who've come in and mentored students. It's about giving a platform to successful entrepreneurs or past students, etc., to talk about their journey, to engage, to inspire and excite. Once our students are inspired and excited, we want to build the capacity to be entrepreneurial and innovative. So that's our education stream. Last year we educated, I think, just over 1,000 students, undergraduates, postgraduates and professionals. So it's all about developing that capacity. Once you have built out that capacity, oops, oh no, I jumped to the best slide. I'm missing one. Once you've developed that capacity, entrepreneurship is missing, which is the outer ring.
That's for me.
And that's about providing the platforms. So today is the kind of culmination of a year's work. It's the showcase of incredible diligence, tenacity, and bravery by all these students. I'm nearly finished. That's the journey that we talk about. We are very proud of the success that that we've achieved in Tangent. I was joking with the guys earlier on, it's like I expect to see a lot of your faces in this next year. So we have, this is Irish Independence 30 under 30. 15 of last year's 30 under 30 came from Tangent. So it's really successful entrepreneurs. And I know some of them are in the audience today. I won't mention names. But anyway, just to finish up my opening, really proud of everything that you've achieved. This is the end of a chapter today. I've really loved having you guys here in person for the past 3 months, but it's the beginning of something absolutely amazing. I've absolute faith in that you guys will be on this and be achieving so much in the future. To finish off, I just want to say a few thank yous. Joe, Gavin, Sar, our engagement team, Anya, Hazel, Ashu, and the wider Tangent team as well. You've done an amazing job. Just in pulling this event together and also working with the teams. Bank of Ireland for their support over the past 5 years, thank you so much. The Tangent Board and Trinity leadership team as well. They put manners on us. They make sure that we are delivering what we're supposed to deliver here, and the value that goes back into our students. To our wonderful judges, Martina and Victoria, thank you very much for today. And we have, I don't know if he's here. There he is, Leo Clancy. Thank you so much for being here today. I know we have a little spot for you later on, but thank you so much for joining us here today. CEO of Enterprise Ireland. It just gives such validation to what we do here. So thank you, everybody, and best of luck to you guys. I can't wait to see the pitches today. So without further ado, Joe.
Thank you so much, Ken. It's a hard act to follow, but I will do my best. Probably the most impressive thing that I can do right now is something that we have all been training for this entire summer, and it just energizes a room as we're about to kick something off. I'm going to count down from 3, and we're all going to clap at the same time. It's really fun. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Nice. And Launchbox 2022 Demo Day has officially begun. My name's Joseph Lanzalata. I manage the Student Entrepreneurship Program. Throughout this summer, I have been helping these guys along their way, organizing the program, and getting them to where they are today. It is all because of them and not because of me that they are going to be successful today. But for today, I get to organize this event. To decide at the end of today who will be our top 3 winners of Launchbox 2022, we have a distinguished judging panel, one of which you've already met. His name is Ken Finnegan, CEO of Tangent. Let's give him a round of applause. Next, we have Victoria Hensler, the NDRC Program Manager. Let's give her a round of applause. And last but certainly not least, we have Martina Fitzgerald, the CEO of Scale Ireland. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and making the hardest decision of the night. The teams will be here to present, and just to lay the ground rules for all of you guys today, to remind you, there is a microphone right here. I have my lapel mic, but I will be handing this to the teams as they come up, in the order that you come up. When you come up, you take the microphone, stand over here. There's a nice little box on here. Please stay within that box, and then you will be on the stream at home to see everybody who's there. They will see you, you will see them. When you conclude, we will all give them a round of applause. But the most important thing is the timing. Each team has 5 minutes to present, followed by 3 minutes of Q&A, which will inevitably result in about 3 questions, 1 from each of our judges. My colleague Zara here is right in the front. Big round of applause for Zara. He will be our timekeeper. He has a clock that is counting down from the total amount of time that you have on the stage, which is 8 minutes. When it strikes 3 minutes, that is when your time of the 5-minute presentation is up. But what we're not going to do is hit a buzzer or ring a bell or buzz you off the stage. What Zara will do is, as you're concluding your presentation, if you have 15 slides left, he will just begin to clap, and we will all join him and begin to clap, and we will applaud you, and the judges might probe you towards finishing your presentation as they ask their first questions. Then the judges do their Q&A. After a Q&A, you simply put the microphone back down here, and as the next team comes up to present, you will pick that microphone back up. I will stand up in between just to give a round of applause to the teams, and then we'll hand off to the next one. Any questions? Good, we're all ready. I'm excited. Are you all excited? Woohoo! Amazing. Without further ado, I'd like to invite up our first team of the evening. We have Navigate Health. Let's give them a round of applause. Inside that box. Anywhere in the box.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Donica, and on my 18th birthday, I was in hospital trying to sit a final exam for school. Symptoms of my disease popped up early. When I was 13, I started falling asleep in the evenings when I was trying to do my homework. And by 18, I was sleeping for up to 16 hours every day. So I was diagnosed with a condition called idiopathic hypersomnia. The doctors told me that there is no cure for this condition, and instead, we were going to focus on symptom management. Now, before I continue, I'd like to ask everybody a question. Who here can remember what they had for breakfast on this day 6 months ago? The reason that I ask that question is because when you go to a consultant, your appointment is largely spent with them trying to figure out your lifestyle factors and what might be contributing to your disease. So they ask you to record your medication, both combinations and quantities, your food, your sleep, your exercise, and how these affect your symptoms. This process is known as self-reporting. Self-reporting creates 3 huge problems for patients. The first is that there's no comprehensive outlet to record all of these things in one place conveniently. The second is that it creates a large burden for people who are already sick. And the third is that where data is collected, it tends to be sparse and it's difficult to draw conclusions without complex analysis. So, we're creating Navigate Health, a digital health platform which makes this process of self-reporting easier for patients with chronic disease. In doing this, we also provide doctors with a higher quality of data, which allows them to inform treatment better. So, we're doing this in 3 steps. The first is that we've built a smartwatch and a smartphone app, which allows patients to record their symptoms with as little as 1 click. They can also record other information like their medication, food, and exercise. This data is then aggregated and analysed. Lastly, the data is returned to the patient so they can adjust their lifestyle factors and return to the clinician to adjust medical treatment for the patient. Now, I've told you that I've struggled with self-reporting, but I actually found a screenshot of my first 6 months of data when I tried this at 18. There it is. That's all I collected. If I had Navigate Health, this is what it would have looked like. Everything I was recording would have been graphed. It would have been easier to draw conclusions about what was and wasn't affecting my disease. There are a couple of competitors in the space, but we are significantly different across 3 verticals. We are by far the easiest platform to record symptoms on. We allow 1-click tracking through a smartwatch app, and we're the only people doing that at the moment in the neurological chronic disease space. The second is that we're also very customizable. Most of these apps have a set list of symptoms that you have to choose from. We allow patients and doctors to input any relevant symptoms that they want to capture. And lastly, we delve deeper into the data analysis so that we can identify trends and patterns of health and disease earlier and help get to that symptom management protocol faster. We've been incredibly fortunate to experience a lot of traction through the Launchbox program, which I'm so thankful for. We started off the summer with a survey in association with the Migraine Association of Ireland, where 350 patients validated the need for this product. So much so that 50 of them emailed us afterwards, telling us their story of health and disease and asking to use our platform to record all of this information. So we published our apps on iOS and Android, and we've also built a Fitbit app. Next, we received letters of support from industry, from doctors, from consultants, and from patient advocacy organisations, most notably Narcolepsy Ireland. Lastly, I'm really pleased to announce that we've obtained a letter of intent for a contract to use our system in a clinical trial with a pharmaceutical company. So, our route to market now is to spend the rest of this year, the next quarter, rebuilding our app with the specifications that are required for clinical trials. We estimate that this is going to cost between 10 and 15,000. Once the clinical trial is finished, we're going to conduct a clinical assessment with the HPRA, with the support of the HPRA and Enterprise Ireland, both of whom we're in contact with at the moment. When this is finished, we move our product from an MVP to a full product launch, which allows us to do what it is that we want, relieve the burden of self-reporting on patients with chronic disease. This is the team carrying this forward. My name is Donica. I've just graduated from economics and psychology, and Jack has graduated from EMSIS and had a startup acquired last year. Our board of advisors has been absolutely amazing in using their interdisciplinary knowledge. Whoops.
Well done, Donica. That was fantastic, and it's great to see kind of like the pitch from last February when I saw you first to where you are now. I can see you've pivoted and changed and streamlined everything. One thing that I'd love to get more insight is the recording. So you had a really nice graphic there of your original kind of like from 2018 when you were recording this and what it looks like now on the app. How do you input the data actually? Like what is the methods for data input into the app? Is it typing? Does it record it on your watch, etc.?
So there's 2. Symptoms are recorded through a smartwatch, which opens throughout the day. It means that you don't have to log in, you don't have to open an app and then spend several clicks finding what it is that you need to record. It pops up for you and you can record it with 1 click. So for example, if you suffer with fatigue like me, throughout the day it'll prompt you to enter your level of fatigue. It's really simple, it's fast. The second type of data is a little bit more tedious to put in. So that's done through the smartphone app that we've developed. And essentially you open the app, click the medication that you've taken, and you can input if you've taken exercise and how long you've slept.
Okay.
We also do incorporate data from wearables, so I'm wearing an Oura ring at the moment, and all of that adds a lot in terms of the power that our analysis can yield.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Great, thanks. That was great. I really like the hook at the beginning, personal hook, a great way to start your pitch. I have a question around, I suppose with someone suffering from a chronic disease myself, I'm just wondering why you've decided not to specialize on one specific condition, because I'm just curious to hear all different conditions might have completely different kinds of symptoms. So how are you able to kind of group those together, and what was your choice rather than kind of specializing on one specific condition, the one that you have?
Yeah, so I'd probably say two things to that. That's a great question. The first thing is that initially we're going to focus on clinical trials because at that point we can get paid a lot faster and we can actually develop the product. Once we have it developed, we are going to focus on specific conditions because it is too broad to implement across a whole variety at the same time. As well as that, we're allowing the consultant or clinician who's dealing with the patient to choose the inputs that they want to record. So even within the same disease, different people suffer with different symptoms. So when the doctor is giving this to a patient, they can say, well, these are the things that you suffer with, so they're the ones that we're going to record, if that makes sense.
Yep, great, thanks.
Actually, you've part answered my question there, but first of all, great presentation. I'm aware of at least one startup that Jeff mentioned there that's already in this area that's monitoring nutrition, movement, sleep, and likewise. So you're focusing, and this was the point of mine, on clinical trials at the beginning, and obviously you can monetize that. Are you going to keep it there? I know you're talking about other conditions, but obviously that's a market you can nationalize and internationalize. So what's the long-term plan?
The long-term plan is still to get to the patients who don't have a platform to record these things. I know I was one of them, and if there was a startup at the time who was doing this that I could have used, I never would have felt the need to develop this. So until the day that there's someone in this space that I could have used, the plan will still be to develop it for patients. If that day comes and there's a really good platform where someone provides this service, then yeah, we'll stick with clinical trials. But the idea is that as long as patients don't have an outlet for this, we will build it. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's give a big round of applause. Very good. That's perfect. Awesome. Well done, Donegal. Thank you so much. It's always hard to go first. So without further ado, we are handing right along, and I will hand the microphone. And I am going to say this after every presentation because we do have an amazing audience back at home, making sure that we're keeping the mic up here the entire time. And when you hand it over to your team as we go forward, make sure you hand it to your team when it's their time to talk. Without further ado, let's give a big round of applause for FriendSay.
Hi, my name is Ali. 3 years ago, I came to Trinity to do my master's in entrepreneurship, and I dreamt of doing a fully funded PhD the next year. But after my first assignment feedback, that seemed pretty unlikely. Reason being, I had never done academic writing in my life. So I started attending all these seminars, but they were too generic. I realized I needed personal help. Turns out, personal help charges $200 per session, and I'm Indian. We don't like paying for stuff. Especially because I didn't need that level of help. Aiden from my class, however, was killing it. So I struck a deal with him. You show me how it's done one time, and I'll teach you a song on the guitar for your friend's birthday. And that worked wonders. He was my colleague. He saw exactly where I was going wrong and fixed it. Long story short, today I am a fully funded PhD student at Trinity. But that made me realize we don't need expensive professionals when we have able peers around us. And that is when I had my eureka moment. I imagined a world where quality learning came not from dull screens, but from hands-on engagement with our peers. But why would they teach you? Because for doing this, they get to learn what they need, or else simply get paid. Now that sounds great, too good to be true even. So the real question is, could this actually be done? And the answer is yes, because we've done it. We started by launching our MVP in a student accommodation called Highfield Park, and the response was overwhelming. The place started buzzing with peer sessions across a variety of skills. These are our first customers. This was back in January. And right now, we are reaching over 300 mentors, 1,200 plus sessions, and close to 4,000 euros in transactions between peers. But most importantly, we have stories of people like Zoe, a professional ballet dancer from the States who found FriendSay through word of mouth and now brings fitness to the doorsteps of students at affordable prices. Now, if you're wondering, how do we make money and how does it work? Well, here's the business model. Let's start at the bottom. When you join FriendSay, you get 100 points. Each time you learn something, you spend a few points. Once you run out, the only ways to refill is either you buy more points or you mentor back. If you're good at mentoring, we qualify you to premium, meaning now you can start charging direct money for every session, and we charge an introduction fee. Based on the level of your need, you can access a silver, a gold, who are more experienced and certified mentors, or even platinums, who are celebrities who offer personalized video answers for a charge, kind of like Cameo, but for mentorship. We started this at Highfield Park in January. We enticed students with discount deals. They came for the pizzas, but stayed for the mentorship. Soon we had interest from neighboring student accommodations, which opened doors to 7 accommodations of the biggest student accommodation company in Dublin, Uninest. They needed community engagement. We needed targeted user groups. Win-win. The next logical step in scaling, universities. So starting this September, using a similar model, we've partnered with student societies across Trinity, and we're launching across Trinity. What we have embarked upon here is a potential disruptor in an industry dominated with a top-down learning approach, and only imagination can limit how far FriendSay can grow. Great thanks to Launchbox that over 3 months, we were able to advance our MVP to this sexy new app and back some impressive names for our platinum mentors. But for the investors, isn't it always about exactly who you would be investing in? And the answer is a time-tested, proven dream team with Akash, with 3 years of experience in MasterCard, graduate of the top tech university in India, myself, a computer engineer with 3 years of B2B sales experience with companies like Salesforce.com, and Alina, the backbone of the company and an expert in marketing and design. This eclectic team has come together with a vision, which is to enable every able person to teach, be it simply their mother tongue. And let's not forget about the pandemic. I'm not talking about COVID, but the isolation we have gotten used to ever since COVID, which is a pandemic post-pandemic. We have been effectively tackling that by connecting people over their goals, by unmasking passionate, brilliant people around you and putting a face to your goals. Learn how to pitch from Joe, photography from Sanath. People in this room can help you learn better, affordably, but lack the platform. With Launchbox, we've built you one, so that next time you have a goal, you find a FriendSay.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on that, and also on your stakeholder engagement, because you've gone out and got discounts. You've got a great array of mentors, including one top founder who's somewhere here, Devin. So congratulations on that. Can I ask you, how much do you have to build your team to cope with the demand if you want to expand? Because it seems, I see a piece in North Dublin that a section you've done, and you've done an awful lot of work to get to that far. So how far would you have to grow your team and to expand, and how much is that going to cost? Because it seems like it would be very resource heavy.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the good thing about our team is we are tech heavy with 2 engineers. So all of the infrastructure that we need technically is pretty much handled by us and some of our friends. So we haven't paid more than €1,000 to get this far for the app. Beyond that, with the increasing demand, so we're confident to get up to 4,000 users by the end of the year, and hopeful of getting up to 7,000 using universities and accommodations. For that, I think we would probably need 1 to 2 admins who manage the community, because we have so many events, which, because we have a lot of connections in back home, I live in Qatar, he lives in India, we're able to do it remotely without actually having to pay here. So, but that's up to the point that we're not able to raise the funding. So the next stage for us is we have attracted some interest from some investors. So we were hoping to raise the funds which allow us to actually hire people here so that it's much easier to do the event management. The one good thing we have is these student accommodations that we were talking about, they already have a budget for community engagement, because these students are sick of isolation, but they're understaffed. And so they don't usually get to those sessions at all, and we do it for them, so they share that budget for us across those accommodations. So we have some funding which we use to sort of hire 1 person to go across accommodations, and 1 mentor can go across 7 accommodations that are closely located. So, if that answers.
It does. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you.
Great, well done. Great presentation skills, really engaging. I have a question around the validation of your customers. So it's quite clear to me you've validated with this with students. They're very eager for the solution. I'm wondering to what extent you validated this with potential mentors, right? You mentioned that students don't want to be spending X amount of money on certain mentorship to learn certain skills. So on the other side of that, right, you have the mentors that might perhaps be able to earn a lot more money through other channels. So what is the selling point to the mentors coming onto FriendSay to offer their skills there as opposed to somewhere else where they could perhaps earn a lot more?
That's a brilliant question. So first of all, there are some skills that fall through the gaps from other top-down learning platforms. For example, if there's a person in Trinity who's gotten through the internship with Amazon, and there's another one sitting for that interview, there's no platform that he can find that person to guide him, but they will on FriendSay because it's a peer that can teach you. So there's some skills that are uniquely designed for peer learning. Apart from that, the other skills, at the bottom there, that we show peer FriendSay, that's training grounds for new mentors. So instead of working a minimum wage at a McDonald's, they're able to aim to get the street cred to actually start making money. We are focusing on this market. The range for this is 5 to 15 euros. And beyond that, a gold mentor, they will only come for up to 30 euros. So,
Great job, guys.
next.
That's for me. Thank you so much. Great job, guys. I'll take my clicker if I can. There, thank you so much. Awesome. Another great presentation. Thank you so much. Moving swiftly along. Again, I said I'd remind every single time there are people at home listening for this microphone, so make sure that we're holding this microphone and you hand it to whoever's speaking the entire time. With that, we are moving on to our next team of the night. It is absolutely AI. Let's give them a round of applause.
The reason why Google and Facebook are the most valuable companies in the world is because last year, data surpassed oil in value. Data is the most valuable asset on earth. And it is becoming increasingly important for a business to gather data and use that data to influence customers. Previously, before the internet era, physical store used to target audience by stimulating sensory organs. For example, shopping malls used ambience lighting and smell to upsell and cross-sell. However, it is not possible with e-commerce stores. E-commerce stores gather user data and use that data to target the audience to influence their behavior. Internet companies that use data-backed recommendation systems are market leaders in their domain. For example, 80% of all streams on Netflix are made using their recommendation system. Amazon has 4 times higher conversion than any average store because of their recommendation system. And more than 2 million songs are discovered every week on Spotify because of their recommendation system. At this moment, aggregators like Amazon charges 20 to 30% of their top line as fees from merchants on every item purchased. That's why merchants want to have their own online presence. However, they are not able to generate the same level of user engagement and traction on their own website because they lack the knowledge of data science. And even if they have the knowledge of data science, they are not able to afford a data scientist because the salary of a single data scientist is $75,000. So, we have developed a recommendation tool for the e-commerce stores on Shopify platform, which merchants doesn't have to have any knowledge of data science or hire a data scientist. We show only relevant recommendations, so it leads to higher conversion, and all this is possible in just a single click. As you can see, this is the Shopify default recommendation, and this is the recommendation which is shown after using Absolutely AI. We only take into account relevant information like user history, product data, and relevant information to show the most personalized recommendation for users. We provide 6 different types of recommendations like similar product, frequently bought together, top picks, etc. And merchants have the flexibility to show this recommendation on different pages of their website. Like it can be shown on the cart page, the home page, or the thank you page. So in the last few years due to COVID, there has been an influx in the number of e-commerce stores. the number of e-commerce stores are increasing at 350%. So there is a ever increasing demand to use data-backed systems. Currently, the recommendation engine market stands at 1.8 billion, which will grow to 17.3 billion by 2028. So there is a huge market which needs to be tackled. There are nearly 24 million e-commerce stores, but not even 1% of them use any kind of data-backed solutions.
There are a few players in the market already which provide recommendation as a service to e-commerce stores. Although most of these providers use old machine learning algorithms from 1990s, such as collaborative filtering, which has a conversion rate of around 2 to 3%. Amazon, on the other hand, has a conversion of around 15%. So obviously, there's a huge market gap which needs to be addressed. We at Absolutely AI use a multi-model AI algorithm which solves this problem. Our solution works for small stores, big stores, and everything in between. We also provide personalized email recommendations, which is not provided by any other user. After talking to more than 50 e-commerce stores, we decided to adapt to a performance-based model where we take a 3% revenue share from every increased sales using our recommendation systems. We are also monitoring to charge $20 to $50 on personalized email recommendation as per the usage by the merchant. We started our journey back in June 2022, and we intend to launch a Shopify app this month, which would allow us to complete customer trials on our first 20 customers by the end of December. After this, we will be focusing to increase our market growth in Ireland and other European countries. Subsequently, we will also be adding new features such as dynamic pricing, demand forecasting, bundle discount, etc. over the next year. This would allow us to provide a full set of data science tools to all the e-commerce stores. We are a team of 3. My name is Saksham Agarwal, and I'm a software developer. Here with me is Shiyom Chakrabarti, who's a data scientist, and we are supported by a business co-founder, Mayank Bajoria. And together, we are Absolutely AI, and we think that AI and ML should not just be a part of.
Well done, guys. It's kind of like I don't know, would you prefer a bell to kind of ring, or the subtle clap happening? Well done. Like, really interesting information there. The charges from existing players, 20 to 30%. I didn't realize they're that big. That's enormous. And you guys are coming in at 3%. It sounds like that they could actually, from a revenue perspective, you could go a little bit higher. I'm sure you've done the market research, but if there's a gap of kind of like, if the big players are charging 20 to 30% already, and you're going in at 3%, you might be able to increase it a little bit.
So I think like the 3% is from our recommendation engine. Like whatever is sold using our product, we are charging 3%. Amazon, on the other hand, charges to 20 to 30% to use their service and all the products. So we are only charging for our service.
Okay, now I understand. I guess you mentioned something there around customer trials as well. Where is that at the moment? Like, are you planning to bring on customers subsequent to today, or do you have some customers at the moment?
So we already have 20 customers lined up.
Microphone.
And we are in the final stages of So we are in the final stages of development, and we'll be initiating customer trials by the end of this month. And we'll expect that the customer trials to last by December.
Okay, very good.
Great, well done. Great pitch. Yeah, that kind of answered most of my questions actually around route to market. I might have another question around, you mentioned how big this industry is. There seems to be a lot of competition. You did very well outline your competitive advantage. I'm just wondering, from that very large market that you mentioned, what would be the percentage that you think you'd be able to capture with all the competition that's around?
So like we are mainly focusing on the Shopify store at the moment, and we are launching an app in the store. So anyone with a Shopify platform can directly integrate our app from the store. And starting, like, we are using cutting edge machine learning algorithms like multimodal AI. So and every year there is like new research which is coming, and we are going to use that research in our product. So I think like we will try to like get the best recommendation, and our solution will be better. So I think we can get the market by ourselves.
Great, thanks.
And thank you very much. It was a great presentation. And Ken asked my questions on pilots and all of that. And Victoria also asked some of my questions. But I suppose it's great being the third person. Can I ask you on sales and, I suppose, securing part of the market? I'm going to come back to that because the tech you've explained, the pricing you've explained. But how are you going to secure that in a very, I suppose, competitive market? How are you going to bring on salespeople, or how are you going to get that section of the market? Because you can target it, but how are you going to secure it?
In 10 seconds.
Yeah. So as you can see, like we have competition, but they are only doing recommendation system. We are providing a whole range of data science product. According to a business case, they can use dynamic pricing, demand forecasting, but recommendation, we are starting with recommendation because recommendation engine can be used by every product, every e-commerce store. And according to different business, we are then providing different services like demand forecasting, bundle discount, dynamic pricing. So if we get customers on recommendation system, we can provide other solutions on top of it.
Amazing, guys. Well done. Another great presentation. Once again, the classic reminder. What's the reminder? Microphone all the way up to your mouth so that everybody at home who is listening to these amazing presentations can hear you as well as everybody in the room. How are we feeling so far? Awesome. Awesome. We'll get that up by the next one because the next presentation we have for you is Script. Let's give them a round of applause.
Great. I love hearing my voice in the mic. My slides, will you?
You have the clicker.
I have the clicker. Okay, sorry. Here I am. So, my brother and I. My name is Diane, and I was born in a small town in Romania. I would like to introduce my brother, Stefan. Stefan and I moved 5 years ago to Ireland with no English. And we had to navigate the health system, the housing system, the social welfare system, and the education system. Well, one thing you don't know about my brother is that he has a disability. He has ADHD and intellectual disability, and I was afraid that he will not learn English. I knew I was strong, but I never knew how strong I was gonna get. In 3 months, I learned English, and I helped my dad and my brother apply for different services like disability allowance or the medical card that is saving grace for us. So there are 20 organizations across Ireland that help vulnerable communities access support. Their services are wonderful, but their outreach is weak. And you know why? Language barriers are a real thing. Bună ziua. You probably wouldn't know what this means because you don't speak Romanian, unless you do. It means good afternoon. So when you look at this map of Ireland, it seems normal to you, but for me, it looks upside down when I read a form in English. There are 35,000 Ukrainian refugees that have applied for social support since March 2022. And before this, 100,000 people migrated to Ireland every year. There are 182 languages spoken in Ireland, yet government forms are only available in 2. Isn't that a bit crazy? Well, that stunned me. And before this, 42% of our total population describe themselves as being below average in their digital skills, while 29% of them don't even know where to go to find that information. Introducing Script, we will launch with 5 languages, excluding English, to allow for everyone to access supports in their native language and digitally. So, you select your language, select your form, select the type of form you need, and you just fill it in straight away. You see it here, it's paper. We can now do it online. So, all you have to do is sign. If you imagine your grandma, she will not be able to fill out a PDF form that looks exactly like, go ahead, please, this. You'd have to go in a software system, fill it out, find a signature, and then hope to God that it works. Anyone struggling to complete government forms can now do so in their native language easily online. We are providing language inequality and digital access as our top priorities. We are working to create a system which implements health, housing, education, and employment at the core of it. We help reduce inequality and prevent poverty. This is us. Shay, who sits in the back seat, and myself here. We have done so many projects, and we're both studying computer science, linguistics, and business respectively. Our advisors have been amazing, and we are so thankful that some of them are here and some of them, unfortunately, are not. So what have we done so far? We've helped 163 Ukrainian refugees apply for this form that you can see in my hand. And it was all done in their native language. We've talked to different organizations, and we've built partnerships. And they've said that no kind of a better system other than a Google Translator is out there. So what we want is for people to not say, sorry, I don't understand you. Could you please repeat? It worries me since no one asked, who are we not getting to? There's people that come, but there's people that are hidden behind language barriers. We are planning to work on B2G and B2B through transaction and annual subscriptions. And this is our main area of work that we want to provide to create no more delays and frustrations that come along the way. We're piloting with Crosscare and the Immigrant Council of Ireland, and we plan to reach France and Germany if we get it done here. Please reach out, and I'm so grateful that you can listen to me today. Thank you.
Okay, can I ask you a competition? Obviously you mentioned Google there, so have you scoped out your competition and that some people are always going to use Google, or what that would be one of the main challenges, or what makes you different?
Yeah. So I used Google Translate when I had to translate the forms in Romanian. And I identified that is so different to what a Romanian user would say, or to what anybody would say in Romanian. And they don't make sense. I had to go over that script, rewrite it in a way that it makes sense to any Romanian speaker. So that's the problem with Google Translate. It is not really accurate, and it's not talking about slang or things that you as a person, the human factor of language and culture, and that comes into it. And that's the difference between us. We have native speakers, translators, or people with degrees in a more advanced language proficiency that help us to reach this level of accuracy for the forms that the government are so dependent on to get people to access those services. And so we've done that, and we have reconstructed the forms so that we are able to allow anybody in Ireland to be able to apply. During COVID-19, all the offices have closed, and people couldn't go in to ask for information. Like, for example, one of my friend's grandma, she had to file in again for state pension because she was requested some documents, and she wouldn't know, especially when she couldn't speak it. But even for a grandma somebody's grandma in the audience that lives in Ireland and has been here for so many years and has been born here, she can't really do that online. So she would probably walk into an office, ask the social worker, and then get it done. We enable them to just go there, have all the information they need, whether it's in their language or whether it's like any other national speaking, like they can have it in English and they can also have it in their language. So I suppose we're just trying to make it better. We're just aiming for collaboration, and we're not aiming to change the system. We're aiming to improve it.
Great.
And we know we can.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have just another quick question around, a great presentation by the way, around the competition. So what would prevent the government to step in and just say, okay, we'll translate all the forms? What would happen then to you? What would still be your competitive advantage? Would that be a risk that you see, or do you still see you have a strong competitive advantage over that?
The question is, thank you for your question, but the question is, why haven't they done it yet? It took me 2 weeks to get people on board and to translate 25 forms across the 5 languages. 100 forms, 6,632 pages. Just like that, in 2 weeks. And they've had funds, they have the means, they have all the possibilities. But I'm here using Bank of Ireland's money and Tangent's money to do it for people. So
I'm conscious
Yeah.
of time, and really well done. Look, I think your passion comes through. Your backstory is incredible,
Thank you.
and congratulations on even, like, it's so topical at the moment. 63 Ukrainian families. I think to Victoria's point, being able to demonstrate the impact from a government perspective, so the efficiencies created, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, would be a really good stat or really good figure to see in the
Yeah.
in presentation as well.
Yeah.
Well done, fantastic.
Thank you.
Very well done. Another outstanding presentation. We're getting towards the halfway mark. We're getting excited. We're getting warmed up. We're ready to go. I am ready for the next presentation, if all of you are. Yes? There we go. We're warming up. That's it. Awesome. Cool. So without further ado, we will bring up the next presentation from eCode. Or Q-Trip. Q-Trip. Q-Trip.
Q-Trip.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Until recently, if you were a business making decisions about a large logistical network, be it a delivery company delivering to points across the city, a supermarket shipping goods across the country, or making decisions about international shipping, knowing if you were making the best possible decision was impossible. The problem was simply too large with too many options. Even the most powerful computers quickly hit the limit of what was possible to compute within reasonable time. The best decision being hidden, decisions instead had to be made based on educated guesses and approximations. Until recently. Quantum computing is becoming more and more real each month, coming out of the labs and onto the streets. And it opens up entirely new ways of looking at these problems. There is a broad set of problems directly applicable to logistics to which there is an efficient quantum solution. Q-Trip wants to provide these solutions to businesses operating large logistical networks. To take one example problem we've looked at, consider the traveling salesman problem, a classic problem in mathematics. It asks, given a set number of points on the map and distances between them, what's the shortest possible route by which you could do a round trip and end up back where you started? The relevance to logistics is obvious. Classically intractable, it quickly becomes impossible to find the best answer here. It's not a matter of bigger computers or more time. The problem quickly outpaces the resources. Quantum approaches these problems from an entirely different angle. When looking at this, the key thing to know, the classical computer cares about the number of routes. The quantum computer cares only about the number of points. As the problem grows, it quickly becomes visible why quantum is at the advantage. This is an industry where any shred of savings is massive. Global transport logistics is a $2.5 trillion industry that accounts for 8% of global CO2 emissions. The time when the quantum revolutionizes logistics is coming, and Q-Trip wants to be at the forefront when it arises. We are Ireland's first quantum tech software startup, and we want to build quantum methods and algorithms for solving logistics problems and provide these to businesses operating large logistical networks. We wanted to be the bridge between the hardware that is now becoming available on platforms like AWS and the businesses that can benefit from them. Q-Trip was formed this year by a group of master's graduates in quantum technology, among the first in Europe to graduate with degrees in this area. Between us, we have background experience in physics, engineering and computer science, machine learning, high-performance computing, and scientific research. So far, over the course of Launchbox, we have begun development on the quantum platforms available right now. We have so far focused around building around the traveling salesman problem, running on D-Wave's quantum annealing machine available via AWS. So far, what we're running is only a little of the pre-existing quantum solution to this problem. That's the basis from which we're developing. In addition, we've been keen to create tangible uses of our solutions that we can put in people's hands right now and not just keep in the abstract worlds away from notice. To this end, we have created an app that implements our solution for inputted problems. Right now, this is just a toy that solves a problem for preset questions like the 7 wonders of the ancient world here. But we have it to show that it's real, we have it, it's usable, and to the best of my knowledge, We are the first people to put a quantum solution behind an app like this. Going forward, we want to build on what we've developed to develop a set of quantum solutions for the most relevant problems in logistics. We want to build up further connections and communications with key players in the logistics industry so we know we are solving the industry's most pressing problems. We have already received an offer from a company in the clean tech space interested in licensing algorithms for us for calculating waste collection routes, as well as investing further in the company to continue our algorithm development. We acknowledge, of course, that this is not a short road we are on. The technology is not where we would like it to be. It cannot yet solve the problems we would like to solve. We are not yet at the point where the quantum advantage can be realized over the classical. But the time of the quantum advantage is coming, and QTrip wants to be developing the hardware as the software is developing, so that when the time comes, QTrip is at the forefront of what is possible. We are QTrip, and we're optimizing for a better future.
Okay, I'm already aware of some startups in this field, but not on this specific one. Obviously, a lot of investment is required when you're involved in this. What kind of a time frame, and can you just talk to me in general about the time frame you're looking at drilling down into a solution, and I suppose why you picked logistics? Obviously, it's a very big market, and you know.
Well, logistics is what I saw as when looking at all the different spaces that quantum was going to be relevant to in the future. Among them, logistics is one I saw as underpopulated compared to others. There's a lot of people going into looking at problems in chemistry right now and finance. And those are very promising areas. Logistics is also one that comparatively I saw as less crowded despite the space of potential it had. It's a long timeline, like I say, measured in years, not months. The next step for QTrip is looking at going to be a not full-time investment for between our team, but rather something we carry on alongside other things, so we can carry on developing software while the hardware is coming to where we would like it to be.
Thank you very much.
Great. Well done, Cormac. That was probably one of the best introductions to quantum I've seen and heard, and I know we've got a couple of people in the audience today from IBM who are eagerly looking at quantum and delivering solutions. That was really interesting. I'll get to my question in a second. I just another commentary in terms of, I really like that you're looking at from a logistics perspective, but brought kind of like sustainability and climate into it as well. So there's kind of like disruptive technology, kind of like if you look at things that are disrupting the world at the moment, disruptive technology, sustainability, and health. We've had some health presentations already, but really, really interesting and great presentation. Very, very evolved, I guess, since we saw you last. My question is around the commercial kind of like roadmap, if you want. I know this is a long game, and I appreciate that this is kind of like a first foray into quantum from a Trinity perspective as well. When do you see kind of like the technology being ready for you to be commercially ready or making revenues on this?
That's a hard question to answer. Lots more better people than me have spent a lot of time and not come to any conclusive answers on that. Personal view, I think a lot of estimates that go under ambitious, and I think it will be in practical use in certain places within the next 5 years. That's my personal view. As for us, it's I say hard to say, but we are also have talked to people look to hire the company to solve logistics problems in a classical sense, which will fund us as we carry on.
All right, and I think that's where I wanted to get to. How do you sustain yourself while you're looking at the quantum solution in the meantime? Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Quick one, if we still have just a couple seconds. I'm just wondering to what extent you validated this with customers. I know you mentioned a little bit around traction there. Could you tell us a little bit more?
We started our talking with customers. We had some initial conversation with group people like UBS, but they're still very much in the early stages of that, and we haven't confidently done that yet. But that's something we are definitely within our next few steps.
Great, thanks.
Great job. Great job. Very well done. I think we've made it to the halfway mark. I'm excited. I'm enjoying it. Let's get right on to the second half. Woo! Let's go. All right, on to the second half. Without further ado, allow me to welcome and bring up eCode.
Hi. We all want to be in control over the decisions we make, but sometimes the lack of information can significantly limit us to do so. So let me just leave this question with you here now. Do you know where the clothes that you're wearing today are coming from? The fashion industry is the second largest polluter on Earth, just after transport. And even though you, as a consumer, may want to change this number by, for example, changing your habits, I bet you feel like you lack the information that's needed to do so. And I can't blame you. When 77% of brands are not transparent about where they source their clothing and how they produce it. This leaves all of us wanting to do good, shopping in the dark. Luckily for us, the EU is set out to change this throughout numerous regulations. By 2024, all fashion items in Europe are required to carry a digital product passport showing the social and environmental impact of their products. This leaves 160,000 brands out there who will need to be compliant, opening the door up to numerous business opportunities. So when you will find yourself shopping tomorrow in the dark, you no longer need to worry, because eCode will be there to turn on the light. So far, we've been talking to over 50 brands and the head of the EU Commission's Digital Product Passport, taking in their main feedbacks and their key challenges in order to tailor our solution to their needs and create a compliant, friendly to use and accessible application that turns the pain of regulation into a gain for businesses. It was actually when we talked to the head of circularity of H&M Group that we realized the full potential of our solution. Not only can we offer compliance to businesses and better communication to consumers, but we can enable businesses to tap into the $5 trillion business of the circular economy by creating key touch points that are needed to enable this economy.
So, when you're in store today and you scan the QR code, you're brought to our web app. Once you sign in, you're brought to the basic information on the digital product passport. Where we really differentiate ourselves is through our contextualization of data, such as how many swimming pools of water goes into your clothes, and our gamification of the app, which we found the likes of Brown Thomas and Selfridges really enjoyed. In terms of our online presence, our easy-to-implement plugin creates a widget, which is one click, you can understand the environmental and social impact of your clothing. And we're delighted to say that if you go to bananaberrydesign.com today, you can see this right in action. In terms of our competitors, we really differentiate ourselves from our competitors in terms of our gamification of the app, which creates brand loyalty and retention, but also numerous touch points for the brand, which was imperative as we go towards the circular fashion economy. And we're delighted on that note to say that we've received 10 letters of intent from across Europe saying that they love our product. And our business model is based on a fixed annual fee plus a monthly subscription on volume. We've been very busy over the summer. We started off in Launchbox, going in June to the Waves of Change conference in France. We met some of the most innovative companies in Europe. We were delighted to become BP1 certified with them, which means that in France we're easily able to get investment. And also we became European Climate Pact ambassadors over the year. In terms of after developing the app developing the MVP over the summer and engaging with numerous stakeholders, we're also delighted to say we're members of the Circular Council for Design in Ireland, which helps us tap into businesses across Ireland, and the Fashion Green Hub, which we'll come back to in a minute. In September, we hope to get into the NDRC pre-accelerator and continue to build on our impact and grow the business. November is a really key month for us, where Elise is speaking at the Waves, is taking part in the incubator for women entrepreneurship in Spain. And we're speaking at the Fashion Green Hub conference, which means over 400 brands there to speak to us about why they think it's important and we can sign them up. From 2023, we want to launch our beta in France, which is bringing in their own digital product passport for them, and be ready to rock and roll in January 2024. In terms of our founders, we met through our Masters in Global Challenges for Sustainability, and we have strong backgrounds in strategy, entrepreneurship, and public policy. We have also added our team, Ethan, our tech guru, and Charlotte, our expert in behavioral psychology, and want to add a community manager in the coming weeks. In terms of our business advisors, these grow from the textile ground floor all the way up through sales and technical advisory. So, if you want to know where your clothes come from, use eCode.
Sure, I'll take this one first. Great pitch. Thanks so much. I have a question just around, you mentioned, so just talking a little bit about your solution, right? So you'll be able to see where the clothes are from. I'm just wondering where that link is between seeing the data of the footprint, and then you mentioned something about helping the brands improve their footprint. What is the link there? How do you plan on going from just sharing that data to actually helping brands potentially improve their footprint?
Yeah, so when we spoke to the head of Digital Passport in Europe, all they're doing is basically creating the level playing field and collecting all the data. So we don't have to go out and actually collect the data. All we act as an intermediary to communicate this data. And when we looked at our competitors, they basically just offered the basic, uninspiring, boring facts. Where we really want to contextualize this to actually make it understandable for consumers. And where the gamification comes in is the better you buy, the more social points you get. And you can use them towards buying trees, etc. But you can also share them, which is advice we got from Dogpatch, was actually to share the points between your friends, which actually help grow your user base as well. So, did I answer the question?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll jump in. So well done again. The evolution and the polishedness of the presentation was excellent. And one thing that I really love to see is you got all our logos in there and all our kind of I saw Scale Ireland there, I saw NDRC in there, Banana Berry. I'm delighted there were students here before. So it's bringing the community together, and that's what Launchbox is about. It's about those interactions. It's about leveraging the community, meeting kind of like-minded people. It's not just about coming up with the ideas, but it's like a community of people. So well done. That was fantastic to see. Talk me through just the revenue model, right? So that's the part that I would just, if you give me an example of how you make money with one customer.
Yeah, so for example, you see it really varies, because when we spoke to a lot of brands across Europe, you can have the H&Ms, which you'll be making millions off of, but you also have the small designers who maybe have only 3 products in their line. So what we wanted to do was charge a basic fee. Let's say, we're not sure yet because we have to work that out through a pilot scheme, but let's say that's €500, and that's €500 across the board. Every year you pay that. And then on top of that, it's a per product line. So if say you have 3 products in it, it might end up being €10. But that'll obviously scale up. If you have hundreds of thousands of products like H&M, that'll go into the millions of euro for the digital product passport. So the idea is that we are always making at least a certain guaranteed level of money, and then we're going to build on top of that with the monthly subscription fees. And we took a lot of feedback from businesses, and we found that was actually the most effective way. And a lot of people mentorship we got was actually the fashion industry squeezes every penny. So you have to be actually really smart, and a fixed fee was the best way with a monthly volume, a subscription based on it. So that's kind of where the understanding comes from, sorry.
Perfect.
I just want to say, in terms of your outreach to the industry, to brands, to markets, France and Spain, but also importantly to the regulators, that was really clever, because there obviously will be a regulatory system and a registration system. So really well done on that. I'm just interested, as a note, there will also be a very huge interest in investors in this, because they're looking at sustainability. Have you had any talks there, or what would your approach be, just in general?
Quickly. In general, really quick. Yeah, we hope there's investors out here, but yeah, we are going to we want to hopefully get into the pre-accelerator to get investor ready. That's kind of the whole point. We hope to get some expert guidance later on that. But that's kind of the whole point, is get investor ready, because we got a lot of feedback, and they said, you really have something here from people across the industry. So we just need really to get the investment on board. But we're confident that with the connections we made, because we have such a strong outreach, that we really push on that hard, that we will be able to get those connections. And in France, we have a few investors that we can follow up on. So yeah, sorry.
Great job. Well done, guys. Another great presentation, and we continue to move on. As we move through, we are towards the latter stages, so I need everybody to have the energy with me. Before we bring up the next team, I'm just going to bring us right back. Let's do a one clap one more time just to check in. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, let's bring in Imprint Esports. Give them a round of applause.
He's brilliant. He reminds me of Jake, but a different kind of...
The global esports industry is valued at $1.1 billion and is growing at over 24% a year. But despite the size of this industry, most of you probably haven't heard that much about the world of professional video games. In reality, it's actually quite straightforward and functions almost identically to traditional sports. Firstly, esports players play as part of esports teams. These teams pay their players hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to compete on their behalf. Players play in tournaments such as this, and millions of people from around the world tune in to watch. In fact, this year, more people watched the League of Legends Grand Final than watched the Super Bowl. Teams earn revenue by winning tournaments and receiving prize money, as well as by signing million-dollar sponsorship deals with global brands such as Audi, Nike, and MasterCard.
Now, recently within traditional sports, you will have noticed the increased usage of data analytics. Every aspect of a player's performance is now tracked digitally, and sports teams analyze this data in detail when looking for new players in order to choose the best possible candidates. This industry for traditional sports is worth over $2 billion. Now, esports has seen the success of this system, and much of the same player data exists. But esports teams have told us that they currently are unable to utilize it because they don't have an effective way to access it, analyze it, or interpret it. Imprint Esports aims to be that product, equipping esports teams with the tools they need to leverage data into championships. So, how does our product work? First, we compile player data for all esports players. To do this, we've developed an internal system which retrieves this data from esports games. We've then built our product around 3 core feature areas, which have been specifically requested by esports teams and which are not available on any other product. These areas are data analysis tools, recruitment workflow tools like player note-taking, and specific data sets that recruiters have asked us for. To give you a sample of what these tools look like, recruiters are able to compare players side by side on our platform like this, and also visualize their performances against each other on charts like this. These 3 feature sets address specific existing problems for esports recruiters. And just like in traditional sports, will allow them to now meaningfully evaluate the players they are planning to hire. Regarding our revenue model, we plan to charge a subscription fee to esports teams per user per month in exchange for access to our platform.
Although other companies exist in the esports data space, no other product addresses the specific needs of esports recruiters. We've been told this time and time again by esports teams we've been in contact with. No other product offers our analysis functionality, our recruitment workflow tools, nor our unique and tailored data sets. Our team is made up of Patter, our team lead, Adam, our business lead, and myself, Liam, the technical lead. Patter is a final year computer science and business student. Adam has just graduated with first-class honors from business studies and French, and I'm a third-year computer science student with significant experience in developing for startups. Between the 3 of us, we have over 26 years of experience playing and watching esports across 15 different esports and competing across a host of teams. With our experience, our skills, and our deep passion, we are the right people to bring this product to the esports industry. We also have the support of a very strong group of board of advisors who have significant experience and extensive networks across esports and technology.
Since winning Tess's Dragon's Den and beginning Launchbox, we've been in consistent contact with Trev Keane and Ben Finnegan from Epic Global, a large esports consultancy agency based in Ireland. Ben and Trev have helped and are continuing to help us by putting us in contact with various esports teams around Europe, most recently to organize demos for our initial product, which we've developed totally in-house. We've also built up relationships with Anthony Graham, co-founder of the Tier 1 team Tundra Esports, Shannon Scotton, co-founder of the team Digital Chaos, and Enda Lynch, team principal of the Munster Rugby Esports team, who has also made further introductions in the industry for us.
After receiving encouraging feedback from our demos with these stakeholders, we plan to partner with Tundra Esports in the coming weeks, providing them with free use of our product for a limited time period in exchange for active feedback and product validation. We have just taken on a new part-time developer ahead of Patter and Liam's return to college, and we plan to apply for the NDRC Pre-Accelerator along with the Leo Priming Grant to help support our team as I work in the company full-time. Once our pilot program is completed early next year, we plan to go to market with a purpose-built product leveraging our validation from a Tier 1 team. We are Imprint Esports, equipping your team with the tools you need to turn data into championships. Thank you.
ask you about your pilot, and if you could give us more information about the scale of the pilot, the results you hope will come out of that, and why you can say so confidently in terms of your competition that you are leaders in the field.
Okay, so firstly, a lot of this comes from we have a really good relationship with this consultancy agency in Ireland called Epic Global, and they have the pilot company Tundra Esports, who we're going to pilot with, is one of their clients. So we've talked to them, and they've almost guaranteed us that they're going to get us that partnership because they're clients. They've actually offered us 2 other teams as well to partner with, but Tundra are kind of the main one we're partnering with because we've talked to them before and we have a relationship with the founder. But yeah, so that's kind of the partnership. From that, we're trying to get active feedback. So like feedback on all our different features, see really where the value is, where like what elements they use the most, it's most important to them when they're trying to get new players, and then make those like the central functions of our product, which then when we go to market, hopefully early next year, we can go to the other, like they play in the Division 1, like the Premier League within their esport, and hopefully we can go to other teams within the same league and be like, hey, we just partnered with this team, we've done really well, they liked our product, and here we are. You know what I mean? Give us that reputation, kind of. About leaders in the field, everyone we've talked to, and like one of our main contacts is Epic, Ben, he hires for 5 or 6 different esports teams, so he has tons of experience in this, and he is like all the teams we've talked to have said there's nothing like this product in the esports industry right now. Like there are other data products, but that specifically analyze players and specifically provide features for recruitment. There's nobody else, mainly because it's a new industry. People don't think about all these structures are kind of only just being built, so we're kind of early in that area, you know.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Well done, guys. I had to do a little bit of research around esports. I know we had the conversation ages ago, and I walked away from our meeting. I was going, I have no idea what esports is. I think having the screen there in terms of like you have the stadia full of people. Like what I found out about esports was something like 5 billion people will be watching esports. 5 billion. Like by 2025 or something like that. So I felt very kind of like, what the hell? How has all this happened? And you kind of like addressed that there. This is something that's very new, but it's just blown up so quickly. And actually in my own research, I'd seen something like Ireland actually has a lot of kind of like famous esporters. I don't know what you call players.
Per capita for sure.
But I like part of the question that I actually had, it was around competition, because the industry is so new, because it's growing so fast. How do you capitalize on this? What's your next best step in terms of like, I'm sure there must be other teams, other startups around the world looking at this as kind of like ripe for picking as well. So it's a speed game, I imagine. What's your next best step?
I suppose our kind of advantage in the speed game is like we have all these connections in the industry right now because it's such a fresh industry. It's also very insular, so it's hard to get into those circles, and we really have, like with Epic, and they have tons of connections all around Europe, and they've really helped us with building connections. We actually have, even from Enda and Munster Rugby, we have a list of other connections we haven't even had time to talk to yet from other teams around Europe and even teams in the US as well. So really, like once we have this pilot program, we'll have a really, and the company we're working with is very well known worldwide, so we should have that reputation where we can go to all these companies and be like, we've worked with these guys and no one else has worked with a tier 1 team yet. So it's really the contacts we have and the fact that we're going to work with a top tier organization that endorses the product.
That's a really good answer. And just like I am aware, there's 2 people going back to college starting next week, is it? So you're going to be kind of like driving this?
That's me, yeah.
It's like that. I'm interested to see next steps. Okay, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done, guys. Clicker is here. We're back. Just 2 teams left to go. We're getting down to the wire. How are we doing? Just 3 teams. Guys, the math is not my strong suit. Anyway, with that, everybody help me welcome up our next team, Luke.
Hi. My name is Leia, and like many of us here, I have become more and more aware of the detrimental effects of fast fashion. If it wasn't already clear enough, fast fashion is the 2nd largest polluter in the world. The last couple of years, I kept hearing about sustainable fashion. But when trying to find it, I got very frustrated. Between the scattered small brands and the greenwashing, it really put me off. And surprise, surprise, I ended up shopping on ASOS like I had just always done. The truth is, we all want to do better, but it's just too much effort. We spoke to consumers and found that, like me, over 60% of consumers interested in sustainable fashion were struggling to find brands. And then we spoke to the brands and found that they were struggling to reach the consumers. This is how we know There is a clear gap in the market to connect conscious consumers with the growing number of sustainable brands out there. This gap is worth 7.5 billion euros just today, and is expected to be worth more than 10 billion euros by 2027. And this is where Loop comes in.
Our platform makes sustainable fashion more accessible by aggregating vetted brands and products you're actually proud to wear. This way, we create a new sales channel for sustainable brands. But how does it work? We validated our onboarding process with our first pilot brand last week. First, brands have to get vetted by our partner. Second, they simply download a plugin to the online store, and from there on, their inventory is automatically synced to our platform. On Loop, consumers can then shop from multiple brands and directly check out on our website. As you can see, our platform and our brands are not confined to sustainable look. We cater to the modern consumer. What we're doing is simple. Why it's going to work. But how do we make money? We take a 20% commission fee on every transaction that takes place on our platform. Bigger brands also have the possibility for monthly membership and reduced commission fees. Additionally, all of our partners can choose our boost plan for additional exposure on our channels.
Currently, there are a few competitors in the European market, and we are taking their best practices. This includes having enough relevant filters, a user-friendly website, being internationally focused, and focusing on modern brands. But here's how we do better. Our competitors vet the brands themselves. Their motto is, trust us. Whereas, when the biggest risk in the industry is to be accused of greenwashing, like ASOS and H&M were only a few days ago, we knew we had to use a third party to vet the sustainability of our brands. And this is why we're proud to announce we are officially partnered with Good On You. Good On You is the leader in this space. They are the #1 trusted source for sustainability ratings in fashion.
So what's our traction to date? We won first place at the Provost Challenge last year, and we were finalists at the Test Fragrance End this year. That really helped us getting into Launchbox. What happened since then? We're officially incorporated as a company now, and we have an MVP ready to host brands on board, which we did recently with our very first pilot brand. We're also very happy to say that we have 12 more brands that are interested to join us as soon as they get vetted by a partner, Good On You. We're very happy about a lot of things. To say that we're in an active conversation with Fashion Revolution about how to join forces in the fashion activism movement. To put ourselves on the fashion industry, on the map of the fashion industry, we will be flying on Monday to Paris because we've been personally invited to the Who's Next Fashion Fair. We hope to launch our website in October with a minimum of 4 brands on board. And after that, we're super excited to say that we go on to New Frontiers Phase 2, and that will drastically help us for a growing phase. Later on, we hope to become a high potential startup to be in the position to start raising funding. Why do we need money, you ask? With this additional funding, we'll be able to hire a technical developer to help us build API integrations so that we can connect our store with any possible stores out there. So we'll be starting off with the Irish market, and later on scale to the European market. This is our team. The 3 of us graduated our Master in Entrepreneurship with distinction and are now ready to take on this company full time. Leia is our eco-warrior, and she's the one carrying the vision. Jonas is our number cruncher, myself, the marketing rock star, and since June we have on board Chaitanya, who's our tech guru in the crowd somewhere. Thank you, Chaitanya. Our great team of advisors is supporting us with tech, business strategy, branding, and e-commerce expertise. So whether we like it or not, there will be a big player in this space, and this will be us, because we are the only fashion marketplace that you can actually trust. So scan our QR code, join our newsletter to know when we launch, but the only question we're left for you is, do you want to be in or out of the loop?
In the box.
Okay, there's already international competition in this space, and you've alluded to the fact that many of those big brands have got into trouble on their vetting. Is that the only competition that you have? I'm sure there are some that are not in that situation, that are legitimate or viewed as legitimate within the sector, and they're up and operating at the moment. So can you tell us about your competition?
Yeah, of course. So we do have some competitors out there. They're still quite small. At the minute, no one is distinguishing themselves as a big player, which is why we think there's a big opportunity here to be the sustainable ASOS. Also, what we said and I found is our USP is that we are the only ones that use a third party to vet our brands. All of these marketplaces are biased because they are selling the same products that they are vetting, whereas we are using Good On You, which is already an authority in this space.
In terms of other competitors, of course, big companies like ASOS, H&M, or others could enter the space with how they're doing already with a sustainable line. However, they lack in credibility. Like H&M is not known to be sustainable, ASOS neither. Consumers who are really looking for sustainable clothes won't go there, or only barely, because the credibility is lacking a lot.
I'm conscious other people have other questions, but Good On You, other people could become clients of Good On You as well. And that would,
That's
not
true.
distinguish you.
What we find is very powerful with what we're doing now is that we're being sustainable from the ground up. Whereas a company who does this later on, like ASOS, they can't CSR their way into sustainability. We are doing the right things right now and setting up the groundwork for the future.
Thank you.
Great pitch. I have a question again also around the partnership with Good On You. How do they define sustainability? So how do they determine whether a certain brand is sustainable or not? What is the definition of that? Because it's a bit wishy-washy sometimes in terms of what actually makes something sustainable.
Yeah, of course, that's a really good question. So we were actually in conversations with them literally this week and trying to really understand so we can actually share how they're doing things. So they focus on 4 key elements. They focus on environment, animal welfare, people's welfare, and materials. So different types of sustainable materials. So they look at certifications, but they also look at the whole company as a whole, whereas if a lot of our competitors are only using certifications to say if a company is sustainable or not.
Thanks.
Well done, guys. I just want to make a comment around you guys have been, I remember meeting you sitting at the table around there for the Province Innovation Challenge last, I can't remember, is it October, November? And to watch the journey that you've come on has been fantastic. To see the name changes that you've gone on has been great. So look, I don't have any questions. I did have a question around competitive, and the revenue model, actually, I do have a kind of opposite comments. It's like to the guys earlier on, it's like 20%. How did you come up with 20%? I guess it's like that's.
So we looked at them in the market, and a lot of our competitors are charging 20 to 25%. So we're actually at the lower end of it. And we talked to a lot of brands, as we said, and even our pilot brand said for the 10% we wanted to charge in the beginning, we're selling ourselves short. Because for the service we're providing, we can take 15 or even 20%, and we only charge the brands when a purchase happens. So only if we add value for them, we take our cut.
Super. All right, guys, I can see that.
Amazing, guys. I will need the microphone back. I have one here, but this one I need to give to the next team. We now officially have 2 teams left. So without further ado, let's bring up our next team, Netzo.
Have you ever worked on a project that has been delayed due to your colleagues not sending the relevant materials on time? I know I have. Think about this on a corporate scale. In a world where deal-making is at record highs, professional services firms are missing deadlines and losing money due to their clients not sending the relevant information on time. At Netzo, we use government-level encryption to enable our clients to request information worry-free and with maximum efficiency. The team to carry out this vision has a wide range of experiences, with all members experiencing firsthand the problem we aim to solve in corporate placements with firms such as McKinsey, RBC, and Citibank. Furthermore, John, our CTO, has a very impressive technical record, previously being CTO of Just Tip, another Irish fintech startup. We are also very lucky to have a fantastic board of advisors. Pierce Ryan, our corporate and legal expert, spent over 20 years in Arthur Cox as head of tech and innovation. Our B2B SaaS expert, Philippe Brodeur, has successfully navigated the Irish startup ecosystem himself with Overcast HQ, and Emer Huggard, our tech expert, manages teams across the US that makes deal-making software for large firms. This problem was first described to us by Clearwater International. Let's take a deeper look into the numbers. During the due diligence process, there are over 50 documents requested by financial advisors, and they can spend up to 10 hours per case chasing up the clients for these documents. In fact, it can delay the whole deal cycle by up to 3 weeks. This problem was first described to us by Clearwater International, who said that sending and requesting info can be painstaking and inefficient. From the head of corporate M&A in William Fry's, we learned that many large firms still do not implement workflow tools. And from Arthur Cox, we realized that the reluctance to onboard new software is often down to the cost and time associated with staff training. These sentiments were echoed in 20+ subsequent meetings with directors and partners of the largest firms across Dublin.
So what is Netzo's simple solution? Well, let's take a real-world example, the acquisition of Tesla. When Tesla is being acquired, the corporate finance house creates a case. This case is essentially a large folder of all the documents necessary for the deal. At the start of the deal, the financial advisor will send off a request list. A request list is a list of all the documents he needs from the client. So the request list is sent to the client, and the client adds the necessary comments, answers, and documents right to the list. This information is then automatically populated into subfolders within the case. Now, this market opportunity was identified one time before. In 2014, Tim Ballantyne, a chartered public accountant, created Surlink, the world's only file request list and document management platform, our only direct competitor. Now, Surlink has done a good job at addressing this market opportunity, amassing over 750 customers and boasting over 300,000 total users. But Surlink is not without its flaws. In addition to the archaic and unintuitive user interface, let me walk you through the user experience once a checklist is received. Due to Surlink's poor access controls, the project lead is unable to invite his team to add directly to this checklist, as long as his information is highly confidential. Therefore, he has to individually request sometimes 50+ documents from his colleagues. This is the exact inefficiency Surlink was trying to avoid, just internally as opposed to externally. Now let's examine this from Netzo's perspective. Netzo offers extensive access controls and the option to split checklists up amongst various teams. This innovative technology is much more efficient and ensures that confidential documents are never exposed to the wrong individuals.
But more importantly than functionality, let's consider cost. We'll take an example of a firm with 20 employees, paying an average hourly wage of €25, engaging in 15 cases per year and spending on average 10 hours per case chasing up clients. This results in 3,000 hours wasted throughout the year, at a cost to the firm of €75,000. Testimonials from Surlink customers estimate that their product increases efficiency by up to 15%. But as we discussed, Surlink only solves half the problem. We've taken a holistic approach and come up with a solution that we believe will be at least twice as efficient as Surlink. But is this a problem worth solving? Well, it is in the opinion of Blackstone, who selected us earlier this year to participate in their Launchpad Fellowship. Blackstone believe in this project because, quite frankly, there is a huge market opportunity here. We forecast that we'll be able to generate over 100 million or 100K in ARR in our first year, scaling up to almost 16 million by our 5th year post-launch. That might sound like a bold statement, but what if I told you that we already have 3 letters of intent from the largest corporate finance firms in Dublin who are eager to use our product as soon as it is ready? We'll be raising around later in the year, and we hope to connect with many of you later and discuss this in more detail. At Netzo, we listen to the problems of an industry, and we have come up with a solution that will save our customers time, money, and many stress-induced headaches. Thank you very much.
Hello, guys. Am I on? Yeah. Again, another great presentation. Great to see the evolution. I really appreciated your breakdown of the efficiencies that companies can achieve using your platform and the difference between the competition. Question around my question is pretty straightforward. It's like, why are the people who've signed letters of intent to buy your product not using Surlink, or are they using Surlink?
No, they're not using Surlink. Great question. So Surlink was created by an accountant and is pretty much tailored towards the needs of auditors. And that is part of the reason why it's not more widely used by corporate finance houses. Furthermore, Surlink only operates in the US and a few in the UK. So they don't even operate in the same geographies as us. Therefore, we have initial movers advantage in the local geography and in Europe. But we're also able to offer our services to a wider range of customers because we can offer it to corporate finance houses and to law firms.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, thanks so much for that great pitch. I have a question also just around competitors. So you mentioned very clearly your direct competitor. What about the indirect competitors? There's a lot of strong players in that market. Yeah. What's your competitive edge if one of those were to move into the space?
Yeah, good question. So our indirect competitors would be the likes of Dropbox, for example. And some of our corporate finance, the people we've spoken with, use Dropbox, but there's still a stigma around, security in Dropbox, and we have this end-to-end encryption to ensure the maximum security, and access control is a key consideration. So, although firms use Dropbox, it's not very time efficient. So we're trying to save them time, which will in turn save them money and enable them to get through more deals. And Dropbox have tried to move into like the workspace or workflow areas, and it's still not being too well received because although it is being used, it's not the most efficient way of collecting information. So that's the reason.
I was going to ask about competition as well, and particularly in Europe, but what about the level of testing of your product and the validation of that, and how advanced your product is, and the timeline for that?
Yes, fantastic question. So our product is nearly completed development, and we hope to roll out a pilot scheme with those 3 firms by the end of the year, where we hope to validate the claims we made regarding efficiency. And we have made this product really because we've spoken with firms and they asked us to. We asked them what they want, and this is what they want. So we've come up with the best solution that we possibly can, and we're going to be keeping it a small pilot scheme so we can keep a close eye on the feedback that we get, make amendments in due course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Well done. Well, guys, we've come to our final pitch of the night. Are we excited? I'm not. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're excited. For the last pitch of the night, as we do the round of applause, I actually want to do a round of applause. So as we bring them up, let's start the applause over here and then bring it across the room. So help me out as we welcome up Give Dish.
My name is Alwyn and this is Cian, and this is the Aria Coliseum. Now, I'm not a tennis fan, but I know its capacity is 10,000 people. That number is significant because yesterday, 10,000 children died from malnutrition. Now, that breaks my heart, but that happens every single day. How does that make you feel? And what can you do? You can donate money, but let's be honest, when was the last time you did that? I bet you feel like shit. But what if I told you that you could walk into your local cafe and order a sandwich and a meal could be donated to someone in need?
We're Give Dish and we're making this a reality right now. You can walk into one of our partner restaurants, order the Give Dish, and a meal will be given to someone in need. In just 1 week, one of our partners has generated 98 meal donations and have regularly sold out of their Give Dish. This is made possible through our charity partner Mary's Meals, who for 12 cents can provide a meal for a child in need.
So why are we passionate about this? In 2018, I visited Kolkata with the Hope Foundation, and since then, I've been on a mission to do more to help. I've founded past social businesses, and I now manage all the Enactus projects in Trinity.
I've worked closely with the founder of Tula, a food chain startup in Dublin, as a sales manager, and learned the importance of margins, upsells, and how to run a profitable food business. We've combined these experiences to make Give Dish a reality. To validate some assumptions we had, we spoke to a number of businesses. We learned that profit margins are taking a serious hit recently, yet some items still have incredible margins. For example, in Shamak, our partner, the chicken burger only has a 17% profit margin due to various factors, yet the croquettes still have a 90% profit margin. We aim at Give Dish to increase the sales of these items to increase our partners' profits.
Another problem we identified was due to the fast-paced nature of the industry, restaurants simply don't have time to manage their social impact strategy. They told us it's much easier for them when an external operation can come in and help them do good. Therefore, our value proposition is simple. By allowing customers to vote with their actions for higher margin products, we increase profits whilst empowering restaurants to have a positive social impact. So this is our business model. We facilitate the donations between our customers and our charities. For every Give Dish sold, we get 20 cents. 8 cents covers our costs and 12 cents is donated.
Although we've had multiple dramatic pivots throughout Launchbox, we've had incredible traction in the last 6 weeks since the inception of Give Dish. We currently have 2 pilots, but more very closely in the pipeline. We're building out our point-of-sale application to automate payments for our partners. And to validate the Give Dish model, we've built out a fully operating B2B SaaS MVP. That's stickers as a service. Finally, we're rolling out a Give Dish for corporate catering, where we've advanced conversations with Trinity Catering to implement this model while also in conversations with Sodexo.
So our go-to-market strategy can be broken into 3 approaches. Approach 1 is mimicking how Squid scaled. We've received lots of advice from the founding sales team who grew their customer base by doing sales sprints. Secondly, our social cause allows us to get a lot of free promotion on large food blogs, and our business value incentivizes our partners to push us on their page.
We've also received multiple referrals from our current partners to new customers. Using these methods, we aim to go from where we are today to over 100 restaurants by the end of next year, generating over 480,000 meal donations per year.
So these are our advisors. They've advised us on the charitable startup space, the corporate catering industry, and how to scale our product.
We have an ambitious vision and aim to be the go-to solution for unitary meal donations globally. We will do this by integrating with as many online or digital or physical food purchases to match with a meal for someone in need.
So, how can you help us? Well, you can go to one of our partner restaurants and try the Give dishes. I promise they're absolutely delicious. But by being here today, you're already helping us. For everyone in attendance, a meal has been matched for someone in need. That's right, Demo Day is a Give Dish event. We know that the impact of Give Dish can be massive, and we're prepared to put in the work to make it a success. Let's all make a difference by getting a dish that gives a dish. Thank you.
I actually know another startup in a not similar, but in a field not dissimilar. Can I ask you a question in relation to this? In terms of generating revenue, can you talk to us about that? Because this is a difficult area to generate revenue.
So basically, each of our partners, we have an agreement with them. So every time they sell one of these meals, they send us 20 cents. So currently with the one partner, as you've seen, that 98 meals would have been 20 cents. But obviously as it scales up to the restaurants because we've seen incredible traction come into us, so we believe we can be in multiple restaurants and cafes and as well with catering events as well. We can be in multiple of them, which as we've calculated even with our 8 cent cut, when it even gets up to that scale, there's plenty of revenue for our cut just to cover our costs as well, and then obviously the donations, which is incredibly impactful. I don't know if that answers your question, if there's any.
No, it did, and I should actually pay tribute to the fact that you reached out to Sodexo and Trinity Catering. Yeah.
Well done, great pitch. Really nicely presented, very emotional at the beginning, so really drew us in. I have a question about kind of the process, right? Of you pay for a dish, someone else gets a dish somewhere else in the world. There's usually a bit of problem, I think, around giving donations where people that want to help, they don't see where there is actually help being given. So I'm just wondering how you'll guarantee that process is not broken, right? Someone walks into a restaurant, pays for a dish. How's that person getting that information where the dish is actually going? Is there something that they're able to connect with?
Yeah, that's actually, we're really glad you brought that up, because that's something like feedback is just huge. That's something we've come up with a lot. So I suppose in terms of how you can see, we provide in our beautiful sticker packet where restaurants can write the meals that are being donated so people can see that number ticking up. That's something we took from another startup that did something similar. People were actually DIYing that themselves, how many meals they're being donated, because that feedback's so important. And then, I suppose it's by seeing it on the menu and seeing it, like QR codes, we've all this kind of media that people can avail of so that they can see the impact that they're having. So,
Very good, guys. Last question of Launchbox 2022 is up to me. So first of all, I want to say, you talked about kind of like you've gone through a number of pivots, and you have kind of like from first the time I came across you. And look, I've said to everybody sitting down, it's really good to pivot. This, when I was talking earlier on, this is a safe space. It's a place where you stretch ideas, where you tear them apart, where you put them back together. So I read something recently where they said the pivot is about changing your mind, and it demonstrates that you have one. So that's really good, and it's come true in your presentation today. My question is, kind of like twofold. One, how many stores? I don't know if you put that in your presentation. How many stores are you currently in? And then the other question I have is, how many transactions do you need to happen in order to kind of like break even in terms of your plan? It would have been kind of like really nice to see that in the presentation in terms of like scale and that financial sustainable trajectory.
Well, so we're currently live in 2 restaurants, which you can go into after this. And we have 3 more lined up, ready to go. And then in terms of when we're going to break even, right? Do you want to take that?
So like basically right now our costs are incredibly low, but we've looked at the number of restaurants and from the evidence we have, although 6 weeks, we have one running pilot and they've done 98 meals in 1 week. So we have 2 partners right now with more very closely in the pipeline, but if our current partners were delivering that kind of meal donation at 30 partners, which is our aim for the start of next year, we see that we will have more than enough revenue for ourselves to keep the running of the business.
Amazing job, guys. No, well done. Let's have another big round of applause for all of our 10 teams. Wasn't that incredible? Guys, I am excited to say that the pressure now shifts from this side of the room to this side of the room. You did it. You have now done your pitches. I am so impressed and proud. You guys all killed it. It's amazing. Now you get to take a breath. We're going to step back, go to your booths. Everybody in the room, you now have even more context on who these great teams are. Your people at home, you can go out, watch their elevator pitches, follow any of the links that you had. But importantly, this year, for the first time in Launchbox history, not only are the judges making a decision, but the audience is making a decision. We'll have 2 types of prizes this evening. Many of you, in registering, would have already voted for your favorite team. Well, I'm excited that now, next slide. Voting is live. With that QR code, everybody in the audience and everybody at home, either we're flashing a QR code up on the screen or it will be up in just a moment and throughout the break. You can scan that code, vote for your favorite team. When we come back in, after the judges have made their decision, Zauer will bring up an amazing brown envelope, and that will have the results in for the audience vote. The audience vote is in your hands. The judges' vote is in your hands. Let's give a big round of applause for our amazing judges. Some exceptional questions, and now, Ken, I'm sure you can find the way to the boardroom to make your decisions. Let's end it how we began, with a big old 1 clap. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Alrighty, this way. Yeah, just through the double doors here.
Hopefully our mics are off.
We can turn them off. You can switch it off. Just
Oh, I
here.
know.
Yeah. There you go. That's where they've all been for the past 3 months, by the way. It is. It is. It's just how it's the well. It's changes. Yeah. It's off. All right. Did they? Oh look, they actually did go and print everything out. It was really, really lovely. I'm so surprised with some of them in terms of the clarity compared to where they were before. Like those guys at the end, Give Dish, they really pivoted. Like they had a thing that they wanted to download and you had to install on your browser, and every time you ordered a meal, it was a disaster. Well, it wasn't a disaster, but it was kind of complicated. And to where that is now, I'm kind of going like, wow, absolutely wow.
Oh no, that's very hard to make money out of.
That's-
Maybe they've changed.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that as well, actually, right? Like, what is their market opportunity?
But you see, the thing is though, well, like
Returned. So can everyone just take their seats for a couple of minutes? We sort of thank you. You know, I just want to say before we sort of get to sort of hear the announcement, you know, I want to thank everyone who came here sort of today. But we're going to take sort of 5 minutes of your time because, like all startups, we look in terms of what we're doing and we try and say, how do we scale the impact? You know, like we're proud parents today. We've seen how the 10 startups that you've presented today, the amazing journey that they've been on sort of over the last sort of, you know, in some cases, you know, a year from their sort of first engagement with us to today, people having come through sort of the Provost Challenge, people sort of working through our different innovation challenges. So it's just amazing to see the quality of the pitches. But how do we scale our activity? So I'm just going to call Joe back up to the stage, and he's just going to go through a few slides. So the next phase in terms of what we do sort of within Tangent.
Thank you so much, boss. So I was so excited by all of the team's pitches, I had to do one myself. I'm going to start with a stat that Ken had shared with you all earlier. It's this one. And I just want to remind everybody, Trinity College Dublin has been #1 in Europe for producing entrepreneurs for the past 7 consecutive years. It's an accolade. But when we look at how we can go forward, we have to look at how we got here. And so I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey. I know Ken said a bit about the history, but if we look back, it was initiated by Vinny Cahill, Dean of Research at the time, and a syndicate of Trinity Angels, Launchbox, Tangent's now Tangent Student Accelerator. At the time, Launchbox, the Student Accelerator, was set up and piloted and ran in the first summer of 2013. That summer, we had some great startups like Food Cloud, Artomatics. The next year, Touch Tech Payments came through. So much success that in 2015, Blackstone Launchpad was set up on campus, a dedicated site to accelerate, incubate, and further accelerate those startups that were already doing well, as well as running hackathons, innovation challenges, sprints, to further fill the funnel of great ideas getting onto that program. Ultimately, in 2018, Tangent, Trinity's Ideas Workspace, was set up to unify these two brands under its entrepreneurship stream. That is where I live today. The reason I'm presenting to you guys today is I manage the student entrepreneurship program here at Trinity. But as I was making... Thanks. But here's the fun part. As I was making these slides, I realized something really interesting about all of these dates. You may not know this, but 2012 was my first year here in Trinity as an undergraduate student. That's tiny me standing by the big campanile at the time. I've now managed to walk under it many times. At that time, I got the first email advertising Launchbox. I applied because I was like 10,000 euros as a student. Jeez, this is great. I didn't get in. I was not Food Cloud. I was not Artomatics. I persisted. The next year, I applied again. Again, didn't even make it to the pitching round that year. The next year, I applied. I found 2 great co-founders, John and Francis. We co-founded Blazer Technologies. Digitizing the beekeeping industry, we did great stuff. I fell in love with bees, so much so that my Launchboxers knit me a little bee today. So, Mr. Bee, I'm still obsessed. And this is the passion that comes out of entrepreneurship. When you dive down that rabbit hole of innovating and developing something, it becomes a part of you. I know all of these teams who pitch today, entrepreneurship will forever be a part of you. And it was for me. So when I graduated in 2018, that's when I came on as the Student Entrepreneurship Program Manager here in Tangent. The past 4 years have been amazing. I'm even more excited about the next 10. What are we about to do? And how do we do it? What I've learned over these 10 years is that not everybody is as excited about entrepreneurship as I am. Unfortunately, I wish they were. And that's my goal, is to inspire that next generation of student entrepreneurs. But to do that, we need to meet them where they are. In order to do that, I have a quote. Not everyone has an idea, but every single person has an interest. You may not have an idea that you're ready to start today, but you're interested in something. There's a passion that ignites you, gets you excited. That is where all future programming for student entrepreneurship at Trinity will begin. We are now looking out to the student body to find what the problems they want to solve are. From that, we're building hackathons, fireside chats, workshops, bringing in the guest speakers that are going to empower, enlighten them, and excite them. In this way, we're not just building ideas out of nowhere, but we're building students passionate enough to follow them through like the great students you saw present today. Because when you reach that first hurdle, you need to really care to get to the next one. An idea is just the beginning, though. What comes next can often be a real question. And in order to empower students, Inclusive idea incubation needs to meet you where you are. Whether you're at the beginning of your journey, or you already know a little bit, or you're well down the road, you need to be met where you are with the answers you need as you need them. We're working with the startup.com and their amazing platform that we piloted out this past year to meet students where they are and give them the next best actions they need throughout the year, so they don't have to wait for the next accelerator application just to get off the ground. From there, you know what you need to do, what actions you need to take. But when it's time to take actions, you need people. When it's time to act, you need advice from those who have been there before. I, as Ken had said before, have done probably close to 3,000 mentorship meetings with students over the past 4 years. I've been on the other side of it for years before that. Believe me, I bothered everybody. But I want to make it really simple for every student who has an idea to not have to have that network when they show up on day one. You can come, get some advice, and find the network through the process. When you're onto something, when you have a great idea, that is when, again, you don't want to wait for the next application. So, rather than applications, we're running showcases. Regular showcases are an inclusive way to highlight up-and-coming ventures that might otherwise slip through the cracks. It's not a pitch for your place for a specific program, but it's a showcase once a quarter, once every month, that can showcase the up-and-coming startups that are doing great in this ecosystem. Ultimately, we will have a pathway to every opportunity in the ecosystem that we can reach to. One of those opportunities, I am very happy to say, will continue to be Launchbox. We are keeping Launchbox as our capstone program for the top student entrepreneurs like the amazing ones you saw present today. The future of student entrepreneurship helps students at every stage in their innovation journey, from their first inspiration, having an idea, all the way through to growing their first venture. Now, the last part of this, the key part of this, is for the student like me, who in first year was inspired, had an idea, but didn't really get anywhere with it, but did something. The next year took action, did a little bit more, got onto Launchbox, launched a venture that ultimately failed. I don't see that failure as a failure. It's a failure that has made me who I am today. And the attributes and skills that I developed through that process to date have not been measurable. But I'm excited that now they are. Introducing the EntreComp framework. The European Commission has conducted deep research into what entrepreneurial competencies are necessary for the future of work and for future innovators. They have 3 subject areas, and it builds out into those 15 skill sets. So a student like me can achieve all of them. I like to think I have all of them. I don't know. But any student can develop these. Now, I'm going to overwhelm you with this next slide, purely because I want you to see how much thought has gone into this process and this program. From the students, to their journey, to the needs they have at every stage of development, to the solutions we've offered them and piloted before, all the way through to every activity set, we have looked at how to shape this and how to format it so it's a systematically scalable operation that requires minimal inputs from any administrator and gives maximum outputs to all of the students involved. As they go through that process, if I was an excited student first year, went to a hackathon, and then got a mentorship meeting, got onto Launchbox, and ultimately my startup went nowhere, I don't walk away with a startup, but I walk away with verified attributes of what I have accomplished that I can take with me. The future of work demands this, and we're offering it. Now, this is what 10 years of pioneering student entrepreneurship has brought us to. But I'm excited that we're not just looking here at Trinity. We're looking nationwide. We want to pilot this out across the entirety of Ireland, taking what we have learned and bringing it all the way across. We have already spoken to a number of universities that are very excited to be a part of this initiative, and we're calling it, a name you may know, Tangent's Open Incubator. Tangent's Open Incubator Tangent's Open Incubator is the new way forward for student entrepreneurship in Ireland, but we can't do it alone. From students on the program, to mentors who can support them, to sponsors who can support the programming, all the way up to incubation centers, innovation hubs across the country that we can build pathways for our students to reach out to. We want to hear from you. There's a QR code here. It's also been up here all day. If you haven't scanned it already, you should scan it again. But if you want to get involved in the future of student entrepreneurship, we want to hear from you. And I promised I would end this with a bit of a shout out to these guys. So today, we are casting a wide Netzo for support. So if you gave a dish and listened to my script today, I hope you will decide to become a FriendSay of Tangent by navigating your way through this e-code. Because if you do, I will absolutely keep you in the loop as we embark on this Q trip to make an imprint on the world of student entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. so much, and I hope to see you all on the incubator. You can get involved right now, you can scan the code, but this is the last thing that stood between all of you and what you really want to hear now, which is the winners of today. That is my bit, but now it is the time. We have had 2 types of votes, and I will hold back the judges for just a moment, but who I do want to bring forward, and let's give him a round of applause, is my colleague Zauer, as he brings forward this envelope. Woo! Thank you, Zauer. Much appreciated. In this envelope, I have who has won the audience vote winner. I am excited to say that we had over 2,000 votes cast for this winner. So there are not just people in this room who care about you guys. There's people at home, there's people all around who have voted to decide who will be the audience choice. Now, the judges have their own choices. The audience have another choice in mind. So the first team that will come in second place, we're going to go backwards. It's more fun. In second place for the audience vote winner of 2022 Launchbox is, drumroll, Imprint Esports. Come on up. Well done, guys. Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations. I didn't even click to the next slide. There you go. Second place. Woo! Amazing. Let me get one picture of you guys there. Go ahead. Beautiful. Amazing. One more round of applause for them. And the first place audience vote winner of Launchbox 2022 is FriendSay. Woo! Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. Jump on in there. I have to give you the first place. Click. There we go. I take the photo. Well done, guys. Congratulations. So, right. That just about wraps up all of the things that I am scheduled to do for this evening. But I do have the great pleasure next of bringing up an amazing person who might say a few words about entrepreneurship generally. He is far more qualified to speak about it than I ever will be, but I would like to invite up Leo Clancy, the CEO of Enterprise Ireland. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. And how do you follow that energy? I don't intend to try. Joe, fantastic job and well done on your presentation and the facilitation and the help and the story that you've brought to this today in terms of your own journey. I think that's what makes things special for people. It's when you hear others' journeys. So I'm not going to protract this speech for you. I just want to say a huge congratulations, Joe, to you, Gavin, to Ken, and the entire team at Tangent and Launchbox for the excellent work you do. This is exemplary of what we want to see from Irish entrepreneurship and a platform that helps that next generation of entrepreneurs that all of you who have pitched today represent. And I want to congratulate each and every participant today. It was my pleasure and absolute privilege to attend today, to hear the energy, the passion, the ideas, you know, the great frugality that you bring to your ideas. You know, I've learned a lot here today in hearing how you guys have evolved things, and what's particularly impressive is the level to which you've taken your ideas on such frugal and scant resources. But the reason you've done that is that you are such brilliant people. Each and every one of you that I've seen today has blown me away in terms of your passion, your commitment, the quality of what you've achieved. We at Enterprise Ireland, for those who don't know us, and most of you may have heard of us, and we've a number of my colleagues in the room here today, are focused on entrepreneurship. And we want to continue increasing that top of funnel set of people who are brave enough to start their own careers. And we think that student entrepreneurship is particularly important in that regard. I grew up in a country where a public service job, which I now have, was the pinnacle of achievement. I think we're now in a country where a job with a large multinational and a safe job with a multinational is potentially the next pinnacle of achievement. But I think we live in a country where entrepreneurship should be the passion and the ambition of all students. And I think whether that's to start your own company, as you guys have, or to work within an entrepreneurial firm, and that's particularly why Launchbox and Tangent is important to us as an organisation, because we're at a unique inflection point in Irish industry. where I think Ireland can be an entrepreneurial engine, not just for Europe, but for the whole world. And we're at the cross-section of global business with the huge multinationals. I know there are Amazon people and others in the room who are invested here for a long time and are doing increasingly innovative things. We have brilliant founders and a brilliant history of startups in Ireland as well. And if you take the cross-section of those two things, I think brilliant things are going to come from Ireland in the coming years. So this is just tip of the iceberg, but you guys have done an amazing job. So with that, I think, guys, I'm required now to announce winners. So I was given a very... I didn't get a brown envelope, Joe, but you might... Thank you. You might, I now have a brown envelope, and there's no money in it, just so you know. I think, Joe, you might help us out with the photos, I think. You did an excellent job, so, and I wouldn't be qualified to operate that. But in terms of winners, the judges have deliberated, and we've just heard the audience vote, but the three people on the judging panel are people, two of whom I know well, and I know, Victoria, your background as well. You've just come from Station F, so you've had a unique lens in entrepreneurship. You've had a great judging panel and people who really understand entrepreneurship. So I'm delighted to announce that in third place, we have a tie. So we have two companies, Netzo and GiveDish. So congratulations, guys.
Jeez, congrats.
Well done.
Congrats. Congrats, man. Congratulations.
Great job. Well done.
Jeez.
So do you want to do...
Jump on in. Into the middle. Into the middle. Into the middle. There we go. We have a... Don't worry. I prepared for this.
Yep, we do have it.
Amazing. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Well done, I got it. Big round of applause.
Great. Well done, guys. So in second place, second prize for today is Imprint Esports. Once again.
Congratulations. 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 Absolutely. All right. Jump on in. There we are. We're on second. 3, 2, 1. There we go. All right. Congrats, guys. Big round of applause.
So the moment you've all been waiting for, and I might ask for a Joe special drum roll from the audience, please. Thank you. We have the overall winner, Ecode.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh, wait. That's a selfie. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Well done, guys. Congratulations. Well done.
So, guys, you guys are the formal winners, but everyone who presented here today has come through an incredibly difficult process, and you were all winners. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and be involved. It's been an absolute privilege, and I will hand back to Gavin. Thank you.
Thanks, Leo. So we've come to the end of our 10th Launchbox. Really appreciate everyone coming today. Thanks so much to our judges, Ken, Martina, and Victoria. Really appreciate the time you've given today. To all the teams who pitched, incredible. You know, people will be disappointed. Oh, you've learned so much on this sort of journey, and we'll see great things coming from you in the future. I have no doubt about that. Leo, hugely appreciate you coming along. The amount of time you spent today, not just to come in and make the presentation. You've been here all afternoon, and we really appreciate taking so much time out of your busy diary. Thank you everyone for coming along. Joe, what can we say about sort of the energy he brings every single day to this job? We're so blessed to have him sort of here, and students are so blessed. Next week, we've got a whole new batch coming in, but we're going to give him next week off. But the next week, when he comes back after that, we go again, and that's what makes this really exciting. But things don't stop here, so everyone needs to leave the room. We set up some wine out in the reception area, because now we've got to dismantle everything, because Monday we have another event in here. So we're going to strip everything down. So again, thanks everyone for coming along. Really appreciate your support. Anya and the engagement team as well. Thank you so much for your support, right through the year, particularly sort of this week, to Hazel, to Josh, to everyone in the team. Wine is served outside. Thank you.